Hi there, everybody. I just want to do a quick touch base. We're going to do something a little bit different this week and next. As normal, tomorrow will be the lecture material. There's 2 lectures. We're talking about visual encoding, so how we map symbols to the data. There's a 1-question check-in, reinforcement, quote-unquote quiz. The exercise this week is going to be a little bit different, and what I'd really love for you to do is all be crammed into one room and work together in groups to figure this out. But instead, on Thursday, we're going to have a virtual meeting. You can come to LSB during class time if you want to, but I will be hosting a Zoom meeting, and we'll be holding that Zoom meeting synchronously. I'm trying to get people to spread out more than normal. I have personally been getting a lot of emails from COVID Cares that students in both of my classes are needing to quarantine. And so I'm just trying to respond to that a little bit. So if you are comfortable staying at home and calling in to the Zoom meeting and working remotely that way, that's what I would recommend. If you really feel like you want to come to class, that's fine too. I'm just going to really make sure that we spread out over the 2 rooms and keep our distance. Okay, so I've simplified. We're only going to do the 1 exercise this week because of that, and then we'll move the 2 critiques to next week, and we won't meet at all on Thursday. It'll just be a week of watching the lecture material, which is going to be all about color. I'll move on to the next thing here. And then there'll be these 2. Okay, so all right, let's just talk about this while we're here. The Tableau work for Thursday, you're going to have basically a data set. And then 3 questions. One of them is extra credit. So basically go in, take a look at this data, and then create me a visualization that ranks the leading causes of death nationally, and then how are the death rates for each cause changing over the time period of record. I want you to visually answer those 2 questions, and I want you to focus on some of these things that we've started talking about. I definitely want you to talk or look at the font sizes of your axes relative to the marks in the graph, and make sure your text hierarchy is really dialed in. And then, start working on things like color and some of the other things we've been talking about. The 3rd question is a little bit more complicated. I give some hints here on how to do that, but I want you to mess around with a little bit and focus on Utah's Alzheimer rate just to get specific. So 20 points for answering these 2, 10 points if you want some extra credit. Submit some screenshots, and you can always submit a TWBX. So I've got the data as well. Oh, that says 10 points. It should say 20 points. Okay, I'll fix that. Anyway, moving on to the next week that's all about color, like I was starting to say. I'm working on getting these lectures loaded right now, and then there are 2 assignments, and they're pretty straightforward. I want you to go look for a couple of different visualizations. One of them I want you to critique based on the things that we're talking about this coming week, how we encode data and how we decode maps and charts. Are the marks being varied according to their position along a common scale? Are we measuring lengths? So hopefully that'll make more sense when you listen to this week's lectures. And then the other one, I want you to find a data visualization and then write up a very brief but critical reaction to it. And I have specific questions that I want you to answer, and I'm very specific about what I'll be reading for. So it's an opportunity for you guys to go out there and be inspired by a couple of visualizations, things that you might want to model when you're working on your own final project. And then last but not least, remember you're supposed to be looking for data. We'll be talking about those things over the next couple weeks. I'll be checking in with all of you to make sure that you are having some luck finding some data, but that's due October 21st. So after next week will be the midterm, and like I talked about last week, it'll be kind of a classic Canvas exam. It'll be 1 week that you'll have to get it done, untimed, open notes. It shouldn't be that challenging for you, especially if you've been looking through the lecture material. And then there'll be a Tableau exercise similar to the CDC thing that we're going to do this week, where I give you a data set and then you have to visualize it. So that's the next few weeks coming up, just to give you some idea where we're going. So again, this Thursday, what's that going to be? The 1st of October, you don't have to come to class. We will hold a synchronous Zoom meeting and be able to address your questions that way. If you do come to class, be prepared to really spread out. And then the following week, we won't be meeting at all on Thursday, but I definitely will be available to touch base. And if you guys have questions, I'm happy to set up a Zoom meeting during our class time on Thursday that we can just touch base if you want to. All right, any questions? Let me know. Thanks.